As a parent, one of the most important jobs you have is making sure that your kids are safe. And that happens the moment that child is born. But unfortunately, a lot of times products come out that are, to put it nicely, less than safe for your child at any age. Joining me now to talk about this is Scott Hardy from Top Class Actions. And Scott, we have right now 3 different stories to cover about major product recalls, some of which might not end up being a problem for consumers. It's a danger, but they may never experience that danger. Some of these potentially deadly. So let's start with the worst we've got here is this Eddie Bauer bassinet and the Disney Baby Doze inclined sleeper recall. What's happening with this one?
Sure. With the Eddie Bauer bassinet and the Disney Baby Doze inclined sleeper recall, this is part of a massive recall of inclined sleepers that were sold to consumers over the past couple of years. And so you have quite literally millions of these inclined baby sleepers that are being recalled because it's heartbreaking, but babies were dying because of these inclined sleepers. And from different reports that we've seen, it's important that if you have a baby, go into your child's daycare and check to see if they're using these inclined sleepers, because a lot of them out there, as we said, millions of these sleepers are out there, and a lot of these daycares don't know that they've been recalled. So go in there and check to see if it was an Eddie Bauer, see if it was a Disney Baby Doze, see if it was one of the Fisher-Price Rock and Play sleepers. There were Kids 2 inclined sleepers. So there are millions of these inclined sleepers out there that have been recalled, but sadly are still out there in the wild, so to speak. And, these babies can die if they are using these things. So it's very scary, and you want to make sure that you are not impacted by it and that your nursing, your daycare facility is not either.
Right. One of the things consumers need to be aware of, especially, new first-time parents, that infant, because they do not have the neck strength to hold their head up, when they sleep, they need to be flat on their back. And these inclined sleepers, they are popular. We had some for my kids. They loved them. They would go right to sleep in them. Thank God we never had any problems with them. But yeah, they do a good job of putting kids to sleep. But we know the dangers now, and this is not something that people need to be using. Link is in the description, folks. Please follow it. If you have one of these, if your kid is in a daycare, whatever it is, please follow that link, get this full list of products. And Scott, let's move on here now because we have another issue. This one could potentially affect tens of thousands of young people in this country, even adults, to be perfectly honest. This is the Super Jumper trampoline recall. Tell us what happened with this product.
Sure. So we've got more than 23,000 Super Jumper trampolines that are being recalled, but please don't try to send them back to your manufacturer. They've already received more than 100 reports of a defect about the welds on the metal railings that can break. And so Super Jumper has figured out a fix. They can send you some clamps to go around these railings. So even if the weld fails, you shouldn't have a problem there. So Super Jumper is saying, don't send these back. Call us up. We'll be able to get you a fix within the next couple of months so you can repair this and you won't have the issue. And I saw this and I'm like, man, this looks a lot like the trampoline that I got my kids. So I actually need to go into my backyard and check to see if I'm impacted by this. And if, I've got to go ahead and order that repair kit.
Yeah, and these are trampolines. They're sold on Wayfair, Amazon, Hayneedle, Overstock. Super Jumper trampolines have a black mat with gold springs and a blue pad which covers the springs. If that sounds familiar to you, if that sounds like the trampoline you have in your backyard, maybe you don't know the name brand of it, please go double check, look through your online receipts, see if it was a Super Jumper that you purchased, and then immediately tell your family you're not getting back on this thing until we get those clamps that the company is sending out. Those are supposed to basically fix the problem, go around the weld so that it doesn't break, or at least protects it in the event it does start to crack a little bit. You should hopefully be okay with these clamps. As usual, again, the link in the description of this video has all the info you need about this particular story. And Scott, the last one we've got today, this is the one that may not ever be an issue for consumers, ever. But if it is an issue for you, it could potentially be a life-changing or even fatal issue. This is the H&M kids pajama recall. Tell us about this one.
Sure. So it's required now when you're buying pajamas for your kids that they shouldn't just be able to light on fire easily. Makes sense to me. But they found that these kids' pajamas are actually not just flammable, but there are more issues with this. And if you have a fire in your house, there could be more of a risk of your child having major problems if they're wearing these pajamas. So as you said, hopefully this won't impact any of our viewers, but there's a recall here for a reason. And you want to make sure that if you have these kids' pajamas, that you are not using them anymore, that you send them in the trash, and that you get your money back and are able to have your kids in safer pajamas. Because if there is that less than 1% risk of your child dying because they're wearing the wrong pajamas, you need to take care of it. That's the thing here, is we're just trying to alleviate that risk. And don't, check. That's all you have to do. All of these product recalls is just take some time, check to see if you're impacted. If you are, take care of it.
And these are pajamas that were sold between July of 2018 and May of 2019. So as recently as, 3-4 months ago, these things were still on the shelves at H&M stores. They were online at H&M stores. So if within the last year you have purchased pajamas for your kid or a niece or nephew or grandchild, whatever it is, if you purchased them from H&M, please get this information. The product codes for the pajamas that are involved in this recall are available at the link in the description of this video. And again, all three of these stories today, for more information, each one of those individual links is in the description. I encourage everyone to follow them and find out more about what is happening here. And of course, as always, do not forget to sign up for the Top Class Actions newsletters. Absolutely one of the best resources out there available for consumers. Scott Hardy, to you and everyone at Top Class Actions, we love having you on. We love hearing these stories, and we appreciate everything that you all do for us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you, Farron.